So one more time, Unit 1, Geometry, Day 3. It's about angle relationships. So your homework, our warm-up, talked about acute angles, obtuse angles, and right angles. To start off the day, we need to learn one more angle type. And it is an angle that is exactly 180 degrees. So it's exactly 180 degrees. Who thinks they know the name of an angle that will be exactly 180 degrees? Nemo?
A line.
It will form a line, but that's not going to be the name of the angle.
Obtuse?
No, not quite.
Mr. H has resources
Trevor.
in this room.
Straight?
Too.
Yes. It will be called a straight angle. Now, I love what Nemo said. He goes, wait a minute. If this angle is exactly 180 degrees, what is it?
A line.
Yeah, it's forming. It forms a line. So if it forms a line, we know that any straight line has a measure of how many degrees? 180. So let's get an example here. Here's my endpoint. There's a ray. There's a ray. A, B, C. So this is actually an angle. It could be angle ABC. Or, as my voice cracks, or, there we go, it could be line AC. Or a bunch of other names, but both of those would be correct because a straight angle is in exactly 180 degrees and it forms a line. Everybody with me? Okay, so now we have 4 angle types. Give me the 4 angle types. So give me one angle type. Raise your hand. I want one of the types of angles. Luke.
Acute.
Acute. I need somebody new.
Right.
Great job, Carly. Right. Jess.
Obtuse.
Obtuse. Come on, I need somebody new. I need somebody new. So we've got acute, right, obtuse. AI, give me the 4th one. AI, give me the 4th one. Straight. So acute, right, obtuse, and straight. Those are our 4 types of angles right now. So what are we going to do with these? Well, we're going to learn 2 new words today. These are angle relationships. Usually in a relationship, my wife and I have a relationship. It's between her and I, 2 people. Same idea with what our angle relationships are going to be. It's going to be between how many angles? 2 angles. Our angle relationships today are between how many angles? 2 angles. 2. 1, 2. Okay. Oh man, you guys seem more tired than I am. Was your guys' baby up most of the night last night?
I have my dog. I have a brother.
Okay, here we go. So, first, we are going to talk about complementary angles.
Mr. H, I
Yes, ma'am.
But you look very nice today.
Thank you. It's the new glasses. It's the brand new glasses.
I'm just being complimentary.
Oh, I like it. I like it. So many good dad jokes that I don't have time for today. I've been waiting all my life to become a dad just so I could use great dad jokes. Oh man, I can't wait till he grows
Do you
up.
use the hi hungry, I'm dad?
Not yet, because he can't talk. So, complementary angles. Now listen, this is very important because you might have seen this differently. Even though you've been working on this since 4th, 5th, 6th grade, it might be a little different this year. Complementary angles are any. I am. Hold on. I just said complemente. Complementary. There we go. Any 2. Listen. Any 2 angles that have a sum I use very correct mathematical terminology. I want you to be mathematicians. So if I say the sum, what does sum mean? What does sum mean? Come on, I need some more. Izzy.
The answer.
The answer of what kind of problem? What are we doing with sum? You know? Are we adding, subtracting, multiplying, dividing? Adding. That have a sum, which means add up to, so that have a sum of 90 degrees. Complementary angles are any two angles. What if I have three angles that add up to 90? Are they complementary? No! Great job! No! Because it's only two angles. Complementary angles are only when there's two angles. So, let's do an example. And it might say this. Here's our question. Are these complementary? Whoopa! That's a Greek word for woo! Are these complementary? And if I give you this angle here that's 31 degrees, and this angle here that's 59 degrees, how could I find out if those angles are complementary? Emma, what? Add them. Find the sum. So we're going to say, okay, we've got 1, 2 angles. So far we're good. We're going to add them up. We're going to find the sum. 31 plus 59. And guess what you have in front of you now? You should have a calculator. Or if you don't have a calculator in front of you, there should be calculators around you that you guys can share. So, you can put in 31 plus 59. I'm going to do it the old-fashioned way. 1 plus 9 is 10. 0. Carry the 1. 4, 5, 90. What does this do for me?
It's a 90-degree angle.
Well, it's not a 90-degree angle, but these two angles have a sum of 90, which means, are they complementary?
Yes.
Yes, they are. Yes, they are complementary. Whoosh. So far, so good. Yes? Nothing too hard? And I'm going to give you the very basics first, and then we'll start to make a couple examples harder. Still with me? Well, let's talk about another angle relationship. Let's see if I can spell this one right. Probably not. We've got two angles, any two angles. Listen again. Not 3, not 1, not 7. How many?
2.
How many?
Show with your fingers. How many?
2.
2. Excellent. Any two angles that add up to, that have a sum of, what do you think this time? What is supplementary going to be?
Subtraction.
Not subtraction. They're going to still have a sum, but it's not going to be 90. What do you think it's going to be for supplementary?
180.
Very good, 180 degrees. So we're going to talk about supplementary angles. And we're going to say any two. Remember, our angle relationships are always with two angles. So any two angles that have a sum of, and then supplementary, we've got 180 degrees. Now, for years, I tried to think of a good way for my students to understand the difference between complementary, which is 90, supplementary, which was 180. Complementary is half of supplementary, right? 90 is half of 180. So here's what I came up with. What does complementary start off with? What's the first letter?
C.
C. If I draw a C backwards, so if I have one C and I draw two C's, what does it form? An S. So if I take away one of the C's, complementary is half of supplementary. Okay, that's one way that if you can think of a better way, good. That's just one way that I've come up. A complementary angle has to add up to 90. Supplementary adds up to 180. Complementary is half of supplementary. Well, let's take a look. So, any two angles that have a sum of 180. Well, let's do this. I'll make it a little bit trickier. Are those supplementary and why? AI, do you think these are supplementary? Yes or no? Yes, good. Can somebody help tell me why they have to be supplementary? Lydia?
If the obtuse angle is 109, y must be 80.
Okay, that would be if they're, how do we know they're going to add up to 180 though? How do we know they have a sum of 180? What type of thing do we have here?
What kind of angle?
Renee, it's a straight angle. The whole thing, these two angles form a straight angle or a, what do they form? What?
Line.
A line. We know lines have a measure of how many degrees? 180. Now, Lydia, you say, wait a minute. I know that these two have to add up to 180. So how am I going to follow and find this? If I'm missing 180 or one angle, I'm going to say, okay, I know that they have to be 180 degrees. I can subtract 100 degrees. You've got a calculator, or we could do it in our head. So I know that y, which is a variable, equals 80 degrees. Supplementary angles, any two angles that add up to 180. Still with me? That's pretty much the notes. We're almost done. I promise. From here, it's just going to be a couple little bit of examples. Then you're going to get to work with your groups. So let's do this. So there's a question. I'm going to see if you can understand without me having to explain. I want you to tell me what these words mean. Find a complement for an angle with a measure of 10 degrees. So, we have two new words today with angle relationships. We had complementary, which means they have a sum of 90 degrees. We had supplementary, which means they had a sum of 180 degrees. But we haven't seen the word complement. What do we think we need to do if it's asking us to find a complement? How many angles do we have to have in our angle relationships? Raise your hands. How many angles do we have to have in our relationships? Come on, I need hands up. I need some hands. I need more hands. Come on. I need some more hands. Carly, how many?
2.
2. How many angles are we given right now? 1. So what do you think we need to do to find a complement? Who thinks they have an idea? What do you think?
Well, complement is like half of complementary.
Close. You were right with complementary. You knew that it has to be complementary. So what do complementary angles have to be? Owen?
They have to be up to 90 degrees, so
They have to have a sum of 90.
yeah, so you can take 10 and subtract it from 90. Get
Great work. A complement is the other part of the relationship. So if I've already got 10, complement, we know 10 plus something has to have a sum of 90. So to find the complement, we're going to say 90 minus 10 gives me 80 degrees. 80 degrees is the complement. Here we go. One more. We're going to do the same thing. Same angle. Find the, what do you think I'm going to put this time?
Supplement.
Very good. Find the supplement for an angle with a measure of 10 degrees. So if complement, we knew we took 90 minus the angle that we had left over. What are we going to do here? How are we going to find the supplement, Maddie? What do you think?
By subtracting 10 from 90.
From supplement, you think it's going to be from 90 still? What do you think supplement sounds more like? Okay, that's
Does it
right.
sound like complementary or supplementary? Which one does it sound closer to?
Supplementary.
Oh, what does supplementary mean? Two angles that do what? Look in your notes. Look in your notes.
That has a sum of 180.
Oh, of 180.
So I think it'd be 180 subtracted by 10.
There you go. Very good, Maddie. So we're going to do 180 minus 10. That leaves me with 170 degrees is the supplement. Great work. Great work. Hi, Connor. Okay, are we good? Okay. So, you are going to be working in groups on this work. This is classwork. I do not expect you to be able to solve every single one easily. Okay, I'm letting you know now. I'm trying to push you. Remember, I told you, the bar's up here. I'm going to get you to raise up to that bar. Fair enough? So, if you have questions, you are in groups. Ask your friends. And if your friends can't help you, ask me. But what do you have to keep out for me, you think, as you're working on this sheet?
Effort.
Okay, you absolutely have to show effort.
Notes.
Yeah, keep your notes out. Make sure you have your notes out to help. Don't be overwhelmed. I've got your backs.